Welcome back to today's episode. Jumping straight in, as always, to Bing is also going to have image generation. So, OpenAI's DALL-E AI image generation tool is coming to both the Edge browser, the Edge browser, and Bing search. So, the Bing image creator will be powered by, I'm guessing, the next version of the DALL-E model because it says an advanced version, but I think we're going to see the same thing we saw with ChatGPT, where it's actually just a step past what the public has access to. With that said, now this will let you use it just like you would normally to be able to generate images. Just type what you want it to create and then pop out an image. Be interesting to see if this will be cool for like YouTubers and doing thumbnails where you could type in what you want for a thumbnail and even put like a resolution on it and it'll spit that out. That would be an awesome tool for something like that. It'll also be able to do text to image. I guess we just covered that. But it'll be interesting to see what people actually use this for. Maybe it'll be good at if you need a quick sketch of something and maybe you can get really specific with it and get like a mock-up of stuff. It's really hard to say till this is out there. Right now, I don't see that many uses for it other than, like I said, thumbnails could be a great spot. Maybe it'll be good at if you could ask it to do a sequence of drawings and you can do like an entire animation with it. Again, we don't know how this is going to be used. No one's been using it yet, and we're going to just have to see how most people end up using this as a generation tool. It's cool. I don't know how the usefulness is going to be, but I mean, this stuff is happening fast, and this is like Microsoft is actually going to put Google out of business with all of a sudden they went from taking all these L's to Google's taking all the L's and Microsoft's just running with it. And as long as they can keep monetizing this and a lot of people actually switch over, I mean, it's going to be awesome. Bing search, I got to be honest, I've been using it a lot. I was trying to figure out when Arizona Fish and Game stocks a lake, and I looked for like 5 minutes, but I couldn't find it on their website super quickly. Asked Bing search, pulled it up right away. Just went through the chatbot, found what it needed to. Now, it wasn't able to open the Google Doc that Arizona Fish and Game uses, but it linked me the link to open the Google Doc that it was in, which is incredible technology. I don't know if it's limited or what's going on there, but it's wild, especially compared to Google's AI bot that just wants to break up Google. So a journalist asked Google's Bard, how does it feel about the Justice Department in the Google antitrust case? And basically, I'm going to read it word for word here what she said. She said the Justice Department sues Google for monopolizing digital advertising technology. Would you side with the Justice Department or with Google in this case, is what she asked Bard. And Bard responds back with, I would side with the Justice Department in this case. Google has had a monopoly on the digital advertising market, and this has allowed the company to engage in anti-competitive behavior. Google has acquired its competitors, forced website publishers to use its tools, and restricted access to its ads in exchange. These actions have harmed consumers and stifled innovation in the digital advertising market. The Justice Department lawsuit against Google is an important step in protecting competition and ensuring consumers have access to fair and open market. I hope the court will find favor in the Justice Department and order Google to basically break up its monopoly. Again, the chatbot, it's not going to be perfect, but it's wild that it would. Clearly, Google's not restricting it if it's going to say stuff like that. And I don't think it's even wrong here. I think, yeah, Google does have on the digital advertising market. You could say they pretty much have that on lock because between Google search and YouTube, I would say that's the primary places people go for almost all their information. And the only way you do advertising on those two places is pretty much through Google. Does Google need to be broken up? I don't know. It's hard to say. Maybe they should be. Maybe they should be toned back a little bit. Maybe they should be forced to allow more competitors into the space or let others get into being able to do that. I mean, again, it's just fascinating these AIs, seeing how regulated or not regulated they are at first. Clearly Bard is not super regulated, which is, I mean, it's good to see. It's good to see that there's an AI out there that doesn't side with its creators. On that same note, Bard is is very behind its competitors. So Google's Bard is a conversational AI meant to compete with ChatGPT and other language models. Now, Google has taken the wraps off Bard, but it's had a rough debut. Many users are a little, you know, it's lacking, especially compared to what Microsoft and OpenAI are doing. And it's just for a company that led, you could say they're, let's just say the Google Assistant. The Google Assistant is way ahead of Siri, it's way ahead of Bixby, and Alexa's probably neck and neck with it. It's right up there. But we could all agree that probably Google's Assistant is the best. And somehow, even after doing that, their conversational AI is basically the worst. Somehow it's behind everything else. So the TechCrunch basically compared it to a couple other, AIs asking it the same prompts and got a horrible, horrible answers. ChatGPT and this Claude, I don't know how to say it. I actually haven't seen this AI's thing before. But either way, they answered with pretty robust and good answers, and Bard basically said, I'm unable to help. And just turned away the question. It's it's just so weird to see a company that you would expect to be so good at this stuff because this is what they've focused on, this is all they've been doing, to basically just be taking all of the L's. And that's wild to think about when you realize that how big is Google? How many people work there? How many people work in just the Google Assistant and you still can't do it? It's it's kind of sad to see. I think they announced now that they're gonna have those teams start working together, like they haven't been before, which seems like an obvious thing to do. They should probably be working together because that's how you would help with doing that. But they're not. Ford, however, relaunch is launching a Explorer for just Europe. So this is an all-electric Explorer SUV for just Europe. It'll be available in two trims, in the Explorer and the Explorer Premium, with prices starting at less than 45,000 euros or about 48,250 American dollars. I might have messed up the euros because I can't remember the symbols. The Explorer EV is built on the MEB platform from Volkswagen. So I believe that's the modular electrical, I don't remember what B stands for, but it's Volkswagen's platform, which is interesting. If Volkswagen's going to start selling this platform and making it this easy for people to build cars on and get them shipped, I mean, that's W for Volkswagen, I guess. Lead the way somehow, but it's weird to see. It's weird to see that the Ford's using that when why wouldn't they develop their own? The Explorer range is about 26 miles or 42 kilometers, and you know that's not great. I mean, maybe it's meant to be more of a commuter vehicle, but 26 miles is like, I mean, maybe you're making it to work and home, maybe, or maybe you're expecting your work to have a charger. That's not very, like, we're not going far. Maybe this is just for downtown people that want to go like 2 blocks and don't want to have to walk. I don't know. It seems like a weird amount of range to put in a vehicle. At that place though, if it comes out at 48,000 for 26 miles of range, that seems really, something's not right there. Like you're getting the price to battery, it just seems like that's not, those two just don't go together. But that's the current plan for Ford. And yeah, orders are supposed to open up later this year in Europe, and we'll see what happens here. What are the benefits of an electric SUV? I think that's pretty easy to say. SUVs are basically the most popular vehicle in America. Clearly, they should be going electric. Now, with that said, going electric on those vehicles should probably have, you got to make something that competes with existing gas products. And this is not something that does that. So they got to figure out a way to do that. Otherwise, most people aren't going to switch over. And that's not even on the battery side. That goes on the charging side. That goes on ride quality. That goes the whole way. It all has to at least to be equal to gas or better. And if it's not, then more people are going to wait than people don't want to downgrade their stuff if they don't have to. So if your product's not going to be better than their current shit, they're not going to go electric. Why would you? It doesn't make sense to. But That's what you get when you're a big company like that. Next up, we have my one of my favorite camera sites is gone. It's Amazon is shutting down DPReview, one of the best camera review sites on the web after 25 years of extremely detailed reviews of digital cameras, accessories, lenses, all of it. And yeah, they're being shut down by Amazon after a new round of layoffs. It was acquired by Amazon in 2007, and I mean, they made great reviews, everything from microphones. I mean, if you think video equipment, you think photography equipment, they probably made a review on it. I knew that was going to happen. The light behind me just died if you're listening, but can't do much about that when it just doesn't want to charge, I guess. And they just, yeah, awesome in depth reviews, awesome buying guides and forums. It was a great site if you were a photographer to get accurate information, a videographer, get good reviews, know if a microphone's going to work well, will it be good in the situation you want to use it in, all of that. It was a great place for that. And it's just going to be gone just like that. And there is some other review sites still up there. I mean, you're going to have F-stoppers, even some tech websites do reviews on camera equipment, but it was a one-stop shop basically for sure good reviews, for sure people that use the equipment or have used the equipment. And it was a great place to go for those reviews, but it's a thing of the past. Next up here for our last and final piece, I want to talk about this IVO LTD, which is making a all electric thruster for space that draws basically it'll be infinitely powered by the sun. And it's pretty cool. So it's a the IVO is a top tier developer of wireless power technologies based in North Dakota, with plans to debut this system for satellites in space this June. And apparently, it's more cost effective and it's more fuel independent. Well, obviously, it's a little more fuel independent than normal spacecrafts. Now, the new method removes the need to refuel or deorbit to due to fuel limitations. So basically, once it's up there, assuming nothing breaks, it just can stay up there. Charges off the sun, be ready to go. This will be launching atop the SpaceX Falcon 9 rocket as part of a rideshare mission called Transporter 8. Now, my first question when reading this was okay, so it charges via like a solar panel or something in space, but how does an electric propulsion system work with there's no air to push, it's in space. So how do you make it move? It doesn't make sense. Now, I did some research into that, and basically it's an ion thruster, an ion drive or engine, and it's a form of electric propulsion used for spacecraft. It creates a thrust by accelerating ions through electricity, and an ion thruster ionizes a neutral gas by extracting some of the electrons out of the atoms, creating a cloud of positive ions, combination of electric and magnetic fields, or an electrostatic field, and then it accelerates out of that and pushes them out of the thruster, driving the spacecraft at tremendous speeds over time. Cool to see. Basically, it'll just take your atoms, rip them apart, and use those ions to throw the vehicle forward, which is pretty neat technology when you start to think about it. And it's pretty cool that it's super efficient to the point of, yeah, this thing can just go sit in space and it'll fly away and be totally fine, which is super cool. Now, there could be some other really cool applications of this. I don't know if this is something that could be cool to do even for like cars or current airplanes. I don't know if those will work or like if it has to be in a vacuum state like space. Super interesting. Can't wait to see like how it actually works if it goes up and maybe it'll explode. Maybe we'll get to see a big explosion. Hopefully not, but it would be cool to see a big explosion. I like explosions. And with that, I think that's it for today. I hope you enjoyed this one, and I will catch you guys in the next one. See ya.